Hello everyone, welcome back to another 2v2 Warhammer battle. This is the Beastmen and Dwarves versus Chaos and Vampires. For my army, we have a total of 4 Ungor Spears, 3 over here, 1 over here. We have Korux Man-Rippers and the Bestgors. We have 3 Minotaurs, the Butchers, another shielded one, and then an unshielded one over here. We also have a Gorbel for leadership, and then a generic Beastlord on a chariot. We also have a Giant on this mission. Back here we have some Chaos Warhounds with poison, and that is my army. For the Dwarves, their front line is Hammers, Dwarf Warriors, 2 Longbeards. We also have a Miner back here. Then we have 4 Quarrelers, in the middle being led by a Runesmith and a Dwarf Lord. Then off to the side we have a group of Iron Drakes, and then 2 Cannons is my allies' army. For Chaos, we have a front line of all Chaos Warriors. We have 2 Chaos Warriors with halberds. We also have a Chaos Sorcerer of Fire, an Exalted Hero for the leadership. We have a Chaos Giant. Then for more leadership, kinda, Sparring Champions, and then double Hell Cannons is their army. Then the Vampire counts. Their mobile force over here, we have the Dire Pack, Black Knights, Varix Reavers, and a Blood Knight. We also have a Mortis Ninja pulling out in the front here, then a whole bunch of Skeletal Warriors up here in the front with Vlad von Karstein. 1 Cryptor, then pulling in the back is a Grave Guard with great weapons. I think that's it. My ally, I believe, is targeting their Chaos Warriors with their cannons. They're not targeting the Hell Cannons, which is something that I would target, but, you know, hey. I'm not this player. So their Dwarf Warrior is going to get hit a little bit from the 2 Hell Cannons. Hell Cannons are like Dwarves, one of their worst nightmares. But they luckily have cannons to counter them, but not if you don't use them to counter them. So instead they're going to be fighting the Chaos Warrior frontline here. So what I'm going to do is actually send my puppies through this gap right here that the enemies have created. I'm going to go bloop, because they are very fast movers. My ally's going to move up, and then looking at this army, I mean, we all know it. My army is better to fight the Chaos than it is against these Vampire counts. But I'm not going to totally abandon the left flank of my ally because these are already advanced towards Chaos. So what I'm going to do here is actually split my army. We're going to put the Minotaurs, I believe all the Minotaurs are going to come over here and assist my ally against the front line of heavy armored Chaos Warriors, while my Bestigors and Ungor Raiders are going to do their best to just try and hold off the Vampire counts with the help of, I think I stick the Gorbel in there, the Giant, and then the Beastlord. But yeah, my army is definitely better suited in fighting this army than it is against the Vampire counts, but we gotta do what we can. Again, I believe the Minotaurs are going to be going over here. Ignore them starting to charge that way. I believe I sent them over there. You can see some hammers going off. You can see the Exalted Heroes coming in, leading the charge. We also have some Chaos Warriors engaged with some Longbeards and I guess all long. Are those 3 units on 1? I guess it's 3 units on 1. Dwarf Cannons are now firing on the Chaos Giant, probably a better target than the Chaos Warriors at this point, but they did weaken them up. Meanwhile, my army, I guess I have the... There we go. I'm pretty sure I run these guys into Chaos. Maybe I don't. But we have 1 Minotaur over here fighting some Chaos Warriors with the hammers. Giant's going to go up here and try and do some damage to Vlad von Karstein. We have Korux Man-Rippers on these Cryptors along with the Gorbel and some Ungor Spearmen. Keeping the other Ungor Spearmen to try and shadow the enemy's mobile forces, including this Dire Pack. This Dire Pack and this Ungor Spear are going to have a standoff for like the entire battle. Meanwhile over here, very clumped soldiers going to get hit by the miners. Well, very clumped dwarfs are going to get hit by the miners with blasted charges as the dwarf Quarrelers are going to try and pour in here and just do a lot of fire as much as they can. Meanwhile, the Giant is kind of ignoring the Quarrelers, which they probably should not be doing that. Over here, we have some Dwarven Flamethrowers helping my flank over here. I'm trying to do my best to have the Beast Lord go in and out of these forces, but there's a lot of anti-largeness, so I don't want to stay there too long. Minotaur with shield over here. I thought I put everything against Chaos, but I guess I did not. Is taking a massive beating against the Black Knights, Varix Reavers, and the Blood Knights over here. Korux Man is going to be hit with the Fear and Terror from the local Mortis engine, of which I don't really have any range to take care of. I don't have much mobile forces. Meanwhile, my puppies did take out both Hell Cannons, by the way. And now they're over here trying to do some rear charges. We're going to temporarily go into these Chaos Warriors over there. Now I got my Giant onto the Mortis engine, or at least that's what his attack order should be, because it's one of the only things I have that can take it out, along with my Gorbel, but he is kind of tied up with a bunch of Blood Knights right now, along with those Minotaurs, my Bestigors, and the Beastlord. This flank is quickly losing, being overwhelmed by the Vampire's regeneration and just massive numbers, but I want to not pull out everything, because we got a nice firing arc for these Iron Drakes. Meanwhile, the cannons are still firing, I believe, on the Chaos Warriors at this point, because they've already routed the Chaos Giant. And I did not type this, but what I was doing repeatedly was this over here. I was like, please. And I kept doing this. They don't really listen to me, though. They're going to continue firing at retreating Chaos Warriors for kind of a long time. Meanwhile, over here, the Butchers of Kalkengard and my Minotaurs without shields have, again, assisted my Dwarven ally in wrapping up some of these Chaos Warriors from the flank. We've dealt a lot of damage to this Exalted Hero, and just doing what we can over here to hold. Like, this is kind of a lost cause. I'm just trying to buy as much time as I can for these Iron Drakes to hopefully do a ton of damage to this very clumped up Vampire Infantry. Here we go, Minotaurs without shields coming over here. More Minotaurs coming over here as well. We're going to slam into this flank with all of our Minotaurs and our Beast Lord and our Dire Pack. Or not Dire Pack, sorry, our Chaos Puppies. Meanwhile, the Chaos Forces are basically just in a rout. I guess these cannons are also firing at the Giant. The Giant can come back. That's still a good target. But I really wanted their assistance in taking out this Mortis Engine. My Giant, who tried his best to do it, is just being overwhelmed. And he's actually going to die out here on the flanks. That's what he's going to be doing. Meanwhile, the Iron Drake's still cooking the Varix Reavers and the Black Knights over there. I'm trying to pin them over here so they can't break through and get to the Dwarven Cannons. Meanwhile, I've been microing these guys back and forth. I've been doing basically this, shadowing this Dire Pack that's been going around like this, trying to get into these Dwarven Cannons. So I'm doing my best to try and keep my Dwarf ally alive. And here we go. We're going to have a rout over here. Of course, remember, we're going to go routing as well. I'm going to pull away from this flank, and you see the Gorbel has been surrounded and eventually almost killed here. And then we're going to withdraw from here and pour over into here into the Varix Reavers to try and finish them up. Again, I'm just trying to do whatever I can to keep them off my Dwarf ally for as long as I can, because they still have all the Corridors, they still have the Iron Drakes. And it was also at this point I was like, hey, buddy, how about I'm not the only one that does this? And I was like, oh, man, for God's sakes, you have all these Dwarf Warriors on me. And then over here, the enemy finally, this entire battle, says F it, and charges into my Ungro Spearmen because they cannot find an angle past them because I kept microing them back and forth. So we're actually going to be able to take out this Dire Pack with the support of the Dwarven Corridors over there. I think over here we're going to be retreating once more pretty soon. I'm losing, or I've lost almost all of my forces. I'm doing what I can to keep this Vampire Blob contained and allow my ally to do as much range damage as they possibly can. You see these Minotaurs running off, but they will come back. Gorbel's coming back. Butchers of Kalkengard are now just holding down the fort with some Ungro Spearmen reinforcements. I don't really want to run my Beast Sword into the middle of all this because he'll get surrounded and killed, but I want to keep him close enough to keep his leadership aura intact. So that's really what I'm doing with him. If I try to run through this, he's just going to get pinned down and murdered. So that's why you don't see me running him in there and trying to use that chariot. Meanwhile, back here again, we did rout the Dire Pack, or I should say they crumbled. And now I can put the Spearman over here. More Iron Drake fire going down as the Vampires finally push through what remains of my forces. We still only have the Butchers of Kalkengard, a little bit of the Bestigors. Now I'm just going to run my Beast Sword in there because, again, I'm trying to keep them off my Dwarven ally, who still is not committing their melee forces. I'm like, just move! And I kept doing this, and then finally they're going to start to commit a Dwarf Warrior. So, thank you for that. My forces are all destroyed. All I have is the Butchers and the Beast Sword, basically, and then these Ungor Spearmen coming up that fight against the Dire Pack. And here we go, Runesmith coming in here, Dwarf Warriors coming in here. We're getting some Dwarven reinforcements. Now that all my forces are basically destroyed, doing what I can to micro a Beast Sword through this Vampire pack of undead nonsense going around there. And again, one of the biggest issues is this Mortis Engine. I just don't have anything to shut it down. Only my ally does. And you see they're still firing at withdrawing Shattered Chaos Soldiers. Through the last half of this battle, I was just like, for the love of God, just please shift up the cannons that I've been protecting this entire game and assist me. But it turns out we don't need them to fight against the Chaos, or sorry, against the Vampire Counts, because we are going to rout them. I only lost my entire army to do it, but that's okay. A victory is a victory. But man, that Mortis Engine being sniped by the cannons would have been very nice. The Quarrelers focusing the Mortis Engine would have also been much appreciated. But, I mean, you know, again, a win is a win. All my poor beastmen died. It's fine. They got a lot of kills. My Beast Sword, 144 kills. The Bestigors did really well. The Corax Man Reapers got mostly crushed, but they still got some decent damage in. Minotaurs, the Butchers of Kalkengard are a very solid unit. And then the Giants, I isolated him myself, which was my mistake because I really needed to kill that Mortis Engine. It was just sitting there out of my reach, and I'm like, we need to kill this thing. And I got my Giant killed, unfortunately. And then for my Dwarven ally, their Iron Drakes killed a lot. Hammers did pretty good on that flank. And then the Cannons killed a lot of Chaos Warriors and then focused down the Giant, which is pretty good. Speaking of the Chaos, 13 kills each on the Hell Cannons? Huh, they must be twins. The front line of Chaos Warriors, though, did not have much of a chance against the Dwarven forces, and then my Minotaurs backing them up as well. So they kind of got crushed. The Vampire Counts, though, well, they got more kills because they killed most of my army. Because I did my best to try and keep them off of the Dwarven ally. So, good game to Magnus the Red. Man, I wish I was cool and Fox. And let's go watch his cinematic view. There go the puppies. MVP's taking out 2 hell cannons. That's pretty good for some puppies. The Chaos didn't really have any mobile forces to come get me, and the Vampires and mobile forces were way over on my left flank, so I knew I had some time. Hammers and Minotaurs, those poor Chaos Warriors, holy shit. Move. Poor Gorbel. Iron Drakes still look pretty cool. The flamethrower versions, that is. Pretty cool looking. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. I will see you all in the next battle. Take care.